Good day, everyone. So we are here again to discuss another lesson in GE6 Art Appreciation. Last meeting, we are able to discuss art as a product of creativity, imagination, and expression. And we also mentioned the various ways of expression through art. So sana na-access nyo na yung link ng lesson natin sa art as a product of creativity, imagination, and expression. At kung hindi nyo pa na-access yung link ng ating previous discussion, maaaring pumunta tayo sa ating Google Classroom at i-access natin yung nakapost doon na link. And also, the other learning resources under week 4. Okay, so for this session naman, we are going to take a look and discuss the function and philosophical perspective on art. And for our learning objective this morning, or for this session, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to first distinguish between directly functional and indirectly functional art. Second, explain and discuss the basic philosophical perspective on art. Third, realize the function of some art forms in daily life. And lastly, apply concepts and theories on beauty and aesthetics in real life scenarios. Okay? So, simulan natin sa functions. Ano po? Functions of art. So, art can function rather in many ways. 'Di ba? Sabi nga natin doon sa mga nauna nating lesson, art can function as an entertainment, political and social weapons, therapy, and also artifact. However, hindi lang ito ang functions ng art. Rather, yung mga nabanggit natin kanina, they serve as indicators of how art has functioned in the past and can function still in the present. Like the types and styles of art that we will examine later in this lesson. So these four functions are options for the artist and depend on what the artist wishes to do with an artwork. So, kanina na nababanggit na natin yung word na function. Pero ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng function? So, any idea? Okay. So, function is an activity or a purpose, natural or intended for a person or a thing. So, basically, kahit saan tayo pumunta, whether nasa bahay lang tayo, nasa school, nasa galaan, o nasaan pa man, everything that we see there, everything that we encounter has its own function. And it actually has a purpose. Everything that we see, everything that we use to make our lives easier. So, si Aristotle talked about this. So, I know familiar na kayo sa taong to kasi most of your subjects palagi siyang may ambag. No? Mapamath man yan, sociology, psychology, logic, halos lahat may say si Aristotle. So again, si Aristotle ay isang Greek philosopher and he claimed that everything or every creation in this world, mapa-living thing man yan or non-living thing, according to Aristotle, it all has the what we call telos. Now, what is telos? Ano? Telos is a Greek word that translates into purpose. Okay? So Aristotle claimed that every particular substance in the world has an end or telos in Greek, which translate into purpose. Okay, so um just like a seed, it is bound to become a full-grown plant to serve its purpose, right? Also, a cocoon can look forward to flying high when it morphs or transforms into a butterfly. And us humans, 'di ba? Mag-start tayo as a baby, papanganak tayo as a baby, and will eventually turn into a grown man or woman. Okay, so this telos or purpose, according to Aristotle, is intricately linked with function. Of course, for a thing to reach its purpose, it also has to fulfill its function. So talagang may kinalaman si telos o yung purpose natin for us to function. And man, in Aristotle view of reality, is bound to achieve life of fulfillment and happiness. We are bound, we are destined to be happy to be fulfilled in our lives. So, itong life full of fulfillment and happiness, in Greek naman, ang term na ito ay tinatawag na eudaimonia. Okay? So, eudaimonia is the condition of human flourishing or of living well. And all men, according to Aristotle, all men move toward this final end, happiness or eudaimonia, ika nga sa Greek. However, happiness, the supposed end of man, is linked also with his function, which is being rational. So, that is our function as a human, being rational. When we say rational, rational is something that makes sense that or that could be based in fact or someone who behaves and thinks logically. For example, paano ba natin masasabi na rational mag-isip ang isang tao? Example ng isang rational na tao, a person who apologizes after an argument when he knows he was at fault. Yung mga, yung may pag-take ng responsibility kapag may nagawang mali. No? Pag-own up baga sa mga mistakes na nagawa mo. Hindi yung ikaw na nga yung nagkulang, ikaw pa yung galit. Kung ano-ano pang excuse ang ibibigay mo instead of admitting na mali ka at baguhin yung behavior na yon. So again, the happiness of man is linked sa ating function, which is being rational. Okay? And according to Aristotle, one can only be happy when he is rational. This means that to Aristotle, plants can never be happy because they are not rational, as well as yung mga gamit, like tables and chairs and other non-living things. Um, Man's natural end, telos, or our purpose, is connected with our function, which is our rationality or being rational. Moreover, the telos and function of a thing are both related to a thing's identity. Okay, so what makes a table is the fact that it does perform its function and thereby reaching its telos or purpose. So if a table does not have a surface on which we can put on our books or things like plates and glasses, then it ceases to be a table. So, hindi siya pwedeng i-consider as a table. Kasi, hindi niya naman na-serve yung purpose niya, yung function niya. Okay? So, and the same goes for us, humans. Kung hindi mo naman nasa-serve ang function mo as a person, kung hindi ka nagiging rational sa mga desisyon at actions mo, siguro sinasayang mo. Pwede natin sabihin na sinasayang mo lang yung pagkakataon mo or journey mo dito sa mundo. So, basically, that will be the gist or yan yung magiging topic natin or focus ng topic natin for this lesson. Okay. Okay, so now let us go ahead and talk about the functions of art. So maraming functions ng art. Yung iba nabanggit na natin ng pahapyaw sa mga previous discussions natin. But when we talk about the functions of art, nahahati siya sa dalawa, or it can be classified into two types. The first one is what we call directly functional, and the second is indirectly functional. When we say directly functional art, it is generally applied art. So, art created for use, designed to serve a purpose and with an aesthetic in mind. So, it's art that serves a function, but it also designed artistically for the purpose of displaying beauty. For example ng directly functional art ay architecture. Okay, mga buildings, beautiful buildings, and um, also weaving as an art, or paghahabi, isa siyang type of art din. And also another example of directly functional art is furniture making. The second one is the indirectly functional art. Ito naman, it refers to the arts that are perceived through the senses, such as fine arts, painting, music, sculpture, dance, literary piece, theatrical performances, and the like. Ano? So this type of art naman this type of art function is used to inform, educate, and entertain people and transforms us into better human beings. So compared to the first one, directly functional art, it is not something that we can use every day, right? Yung sa directly functional, magagamit talaga natin siya every day, like sa furniture, yung upuan, lamesa, yung higaan mo, palagi natin siyang magagamit. And it actually serve its purpose, yung physical purpose niya. While ang indirectly functional art naman, more on to parang to serve as an inspiration for us to relieve our emotions or stress, ano, and to communicate ideas, things like that. So yun, sana nakuha natin yung pagkakaiba nitong directly functional art at indirectly functional art. Okay, so let's proceed. So now that we know the difference between the direct and indirectly functional art, let us now discuss the different functions. So as you can see on your screen, we have their personal, social, and physical functions of art. So isa-isahin natin kung ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng mga functions na yan. At unahin natin yung personal functions of art. The personal function of art are varied and highly subjective. So what does it mean? Ano kayang ibig sabihin nito? This means that its function depend on the person. So the artist who created the art. So personal, depende sa perspective mo, depende sa point of view ng artist na gumawa niyan, kung ano ba yung personal reason niya in doing such thing or in doing such craft or art. So, an artist may create an art out of the need for self-expression. So, this is the case for an artist who needs to communicate an idea to his audience. It can also be more entertainment for his intended audience. Pero minsan naman, the artist may not even intend to mean anything with his work. So, nangyayari din yun. Also, art may also be therapeutic. So, in some orphanage and home for abandoned elders, art is used to help residents to process their emotion or while away their time or magpalipas ng oras. And recently, the use of adult coloring books to distress has been apparent. Mas ginagamit na siya ngayon sa mga ganitong institution. And back in college, when we visited an orphanage in Naga City, we conducted an art therapy. So, yung mga bata kasing andun, mostly sa kanila ay inabuso. And though hindi sila nag-open up sa amin ng kanilang mga experiences, kasi syempre, we're basically strangers to them or to each other. Pero by doing art through the use of paint, we were able to have a glimpse kung ano yung hope pa na meron sila, kung ano pa yung, kung ah, ano pa yung nilu-look forward nila in the future, magagandang bagay na nilu-look forward nila sa kanilang future. And in that way, we know na nakatulong yung activity namin sa mga bata as a sort of therapy or ma-express man lang yung kanilang saloob. Okay, so yeah. So this all fall under personal functions of art. So second, we have their social function of art. Art is considered to have a social function if and when it addresses a particular collective interest as opposed to personal interest. Okay, so political art is a very common example of an art with social function. So art may convey message of protest, contestation, or whatever message the artist intends his work to carry. And often, art can also depict social conditions. So through art, nakakapagbukas ito ng bagong perspective and realization sa audiences. May impact, kumbaga, sa society at hindi lang for personal gain or for personal concerns. Example nito ay photography. So, photography as a medium. So, as an art form, uh, it delivers this kind of function by taking photos of subject in conditions that people do not normally take a look at or give attention to. So to be specific, pictures of poverty, no, kahirapan, may carry emotional overtones that may solicit action or awareness from their audience. And moreover, performance art, another example, performance art like plays or satires. When we say satires, the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues. And this can also arouse emotion and rally people toward a particular end. And in this and more, the social function of art is apparent. Okay, so next is physical function of art. So this is the easiest to spot and understand itong physical function. The physical function of art can be found in artworks that are crafted in order to serve some physical purpose. Example, a Japanese raku bowl that serves a physical function in tea ceremony is an example. And also, architecture, yung mga directly functional art na nabanggit natin kanina, yung may physical function, yung nasa-serve yung function niya. Hindi lang for our eyes, para masiyahan yung mga mata natin sa nakikita natin, but also nasa-serve niya din talaga yung purpose niya, like architecture, interior design as well, are all forms of art that has physical function. Okay, so other functions of art are music, sculpture, and also architecture. So in our previous lesson, we have mentioned architecture as one way of expression, or as a way of expression rather. So sana natatandaan pa ano po yung lesson natin last meeting. Music naman as an art is also interesting to talk about in relation to function. Music in its original form was principally functional. Music was used for dance and religion, unlike today na when one can just listen to music for the sake of music's sake. Before kasi, talagang ang role ng music ay sa dance lang and also sa religion, most importantly. The ancient world, saw music going back, the ancient world saw music only as an instrument to facilities worship and invocation to gods. And music also was essential to dance because music assures synchronicity among dancers. Moreover, music also guarantees that marches in the case of warriors were simultaneous. Today, music has expanded its function and coverage. Music is listened to and made by people for reasons that were foreign to early civilization or naiiba sa rasyonale or reason ng mga naunang sibilisasyon. 'Di ba ngayon kasi there are now a lot of music that has no connection whatsoever to dance or religion. Ang daming sumisikat na kanta or sumikat na kanta na paulit-ulit lang yung lyrics hanggang sa matapos yung kanta. Minsan isang sentence lang tapos yun na yung bumuo sa kanta. Tas kung hihimayin mo yung lyrics, hihimayin mo yung meaning ng lyrics, parang wala ka naman makukuha out of it. Pero it's fun naman to listen to. Also, serenade, is one example. People compose hymns of love to express feelings and emotions, and music is also used as a wonderful accompaniment to stage plays and motion pictures. Sa mga event na lang din, 'di ba? Like kasal, birthdays, parang kulang ang ganap kung walang music, parang hindi buhay ang event kung walang patugtog. Okay? So interestingly, a piece of music can mean a multitude of meanings to different people. A proof that as an art, music has gone a long way. Also, itong sculpture, other function of art. Sculpture naman, on the other hand, is another functional art form that has long existed for various purposes. And just like music, from the early days of humanity, sculptures have been made by man, most particularly for religion. And people erect status for the divine. In the Roman Catholic world, the employment of sculptures for religious purposes has remained vital, relevant, and symbolic. So sa mga Catholic, yung mga sinasamba natin ng mga bulto, so that is one example of sculpture na ginagamit natin sa ating religion para sa pag-alala or pag-commemorate sa ating mga saints and also doon sa mga mahalagang persona na may kinalaman at may ambag sa ating history. And sculptures were also made in order, sabi nga natin kanina, in order to commemorate important figures in the history. Okay? So, next is art assist in rituals that promotes our physical and spiritual well-being. Um, in many cultures, art is used in religion, spiritual, or magical rituals, performances, and dances as a decoration or symbol of a god or other divine quality. While this often have no specific utilitarian purpose, sabi ng mga anthropologists know that they often serve a purpose at the level of meaning within a particular culture. So, nagkakaiba-iba tayo dyan kasi, different country, different places, meron yan to, may sarili-sarili ang culture. And this meaning is not furnished by any one individual, but it is often the result of many generations of change and understanding and a cosmological relationship within the culture. Okay, so next, art reflects customs that is related to food, shelter, and human reproduction. Also, gaya ng nabanggit natin dati, art communicates. Art communicates thoughts, ideas, and emotions. And art, at its simplest, is a form of communication. Most forms of communication have an intent or goal directed toward other people. Illustrative arts, such as scientific illustration, are a form of art as a communication. Maps are another example. However, the content need not to be scientific. Hindi naman kailangan pure scientific ito. Like stories, emotions, and feelings are also communicated through art. Okay, so next, art serves and commemorate. So, gaya ng nabanggit natin kanina, under sculpture, art plays an important role to remember our loved ones who passed away. And next, art is a means in protesting, as a means in protesting political and social injustice. So art is often utilized as a form of propaganda and thus can be used to subtly influence popular conceptions or moods, especially regarding political issues. In a similar way, art that tries to sell a product also influences mood and emotion. In both cases, the purpose of art here is to manipulate the viewer, subtly manipulate the viewer into a particular emotional or psychological response toward a particular idea or object. Okay, so again, that is art as a means in protesting political and social injustice. Okay, so art promotes cohesion within the social group. So art can be used to raise awareness for a large variety of causes. A number of art activities are aimed at raising awareness of AIDS, to name some, autism, cancer, human trafficking, and a variety of other topics, other current issues that our society is facing, such as ocean conservation, human rights, crimes and killings, um, mga abuse, marriage and gender equality, and also pollution. And dito nga under pollution, may tinatawag tayong trashon. So itong trashon, this is the using of trash to make fashion. So this is one of example of using art to raise awareness about pollution. Okay, so next, art also records. So art records the likeness of individuals and the context in which individual exist. So through art, we can trace back what happened to the early civilization, and we are able to learn from their history. So that is one of the important role of art sa ating society. We are able to trace back kung ano yung nangyari before, and by doing that, matututo tayo doon sa mga naging mistake ng past civilization, and also pwede din yun panggalingan ng mga new invention para mas mapadali ang buhay natin ngayon. Okay, so next is art educate. So art educate us about ourselves and the world around us. And also, art entertains. So, art may seek to bring about a particular emotion or mood for the purpose of relaxing or entertaining the viewer. So, this is often the function of the art industry, such as motion pictures and video games, yung mga ML nyo, no? And of course, more traditional art, such as some paintings and sculptures, are simply meant to be enjoyable. Okay, so yun. So that the things that we have mentioned are basically the functions of art. So that ends our lesson under functions and philosophical perspective on art. And so far, we have tackled telos and eudaimonia that is greatly linked to our functionality or functions in the context of art. And also, we have discussed directly and indirectly functional art. We mentioned as well the different functions of art. So, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to send a message sa ating group chat or sa akin, personally. And if you want to leave a comment, kung gusto niyo dyan na magtanong na sa ating dyan sa link na isi-send ko, pwede din naman, And also, para makita ko din kung napanood at na-access nyo na ba itong lesson na to. So, thank you again for taking your time and watching this lesson. Um, Thank you for attending our asynchronous activity, and I hope that you had a clear understanding of our topic. Kindly review the topics and concepts that we have discussed, for I might be giving a short quiz next meeting. So, again, thank you so much and have a nice day. Goodbye.